I'm John Tisdale, and in this video, I'll give you an introduction and overview to PipelineML. Now, PipelineML is a set of free open data standards that empowers oil and gas stakeholders to capture, exchange, and archive asset information quickly and easily. This data standard was developed over several years involving representatives from numerous international operators, service providers, software vendors, associations, and government agencies. Whenever possible, we relied on well-known existing standards such as those developed by the American Petroleum Institute, API, the American Society for Testing and Materials, ASTM, and the International Organization for Standards, the ISO. We chose to develop PipelineML standards under the Open Geospatial Consortium, or the OGC, because of their expertise, processes, and resources for developing data exchange standards with a focus on geospatial information. In other words, how to incorporate the location of assets as they're installed in the field into data files. OGC standards are broadly adopted across many industries worldwide. PipelineML is based on OGC's GML exchange standard because it is easy to extend to meet the needs of vertical markets such as those of oil and gas. This means that any software application that can read a GML file can at least visualize the location information contained in a PipelineML file without any modifications. We began prototyping PipelineML in 2011 and formally developed a standards working group in Washington, D.C. in March of 2014. After 5 years of work and countless prototypes, our proposal was finalized and presented to the OGC, where it passed all votes and became an official OGC data standard in June of 2019. What can PipelineML do for your business? First, let's discuss how it helps you capture data better, faster, and cheaper. PipelineML allows you to define your asset information in whatever resolution best suits your business need for any particular situation. You can just send right-of-way or centerline data about a pipeline system or, say, an assessment segment, or you can define individual components such as welds, valves, line pipes, sleeves, and so on. So you can incorporate whatever resolution of asset information best suits your business need, and PipelineML can handle it. PipelineML helps you capture data whenever any information about your assets becomes known. For example, during pipeline construction, we tend to not capture data until just before the pipe is covered, such as during survey and mapping. This tends to lead to an assortment of issues, such as by the time we validate that data and find any problems or missing data, it's often too late because the ditch is already covered up. We designed PipelineML to capture data as early in the life of assets as possible. For example, when a pipeline system is being designed using CAD software such as AutoCAD, Bentley, Integraph, etc., we designed PipelineML so that those CAD programs can output data to a PipelineML file. Also, during parts acquisition, as components are being purchased and still have MTR or other records attached, some of that data can be captured into PipelineML. Also, we are discussing future plans of expanding the current version of PipelineML to possibly include other types of data, such as machine-readable MTR capabilities, among other areas of expansion. And this is where we would love to get your help to help us determine where the next priorities lie, so we continue to develop this set of standards to service the needs of the oil and gas industry. Then, during construction, as field modifications are being made to a section of line pipe, construction management systems can output PipelineML files to show ongoing progress. This same capability continues throughout the entire life cycle of assets, including survey and mapping, operations, integrity, risk assessment, and so on. Basically, every part of an asset's life cycle, from design and parts acquisition, construction, all the way through divestiture and abandonment, PipelineML can be a useful tool in being able to exchange that data in terms of sending it out and receiving it. PipelineML provides the ability to capture additional information whenever data is discovered, such as when the ditch is uncovered during a rehab project or non-destructive examination. In other words, whenever data is discovered or becomes known, PipelineML provides an excellent vehicle to capture that information quickly and easily while that opportunity remains. Otherwise, that becomes a lost opportunity. Also, we built into PipelineML the ability to test and validate data. We're nearing completion on the development of a PipelineML validation web service where you can test a PipelineML file for free that will return a pass-fail status as well as a list of errors and warnings. If the file passes validation, it will return a unique validation certificate that you can include in your PipelineML file. This testing and validation process provides complete consistency so that any party can test the same PipelineML data package and it will always produce the exact same results. This allows you to know the quality of the data before you choose to accept and store it. Besides capturing data, PipelineML also allows you to persist your data throughout the life of your assets. This means you can share or exchange your asset data more easily so that you can get data into the hands of decision makers much faster. Now, there are two contexts within which oil and gas stakeholders may wish to share asset data. First of all, with external stakeholders, such as between operators and service providers. Second, between internal business units within a pipeline operator. First, in terms of sharing asset data externally, every project from construction to rehab, reroutes, ILI pig runs involves sharing data between parties who utilize different platforms, systems, software, and devices. We build into those project budgets the cost to arduously map and translate data between those disparate systems. If we move away from this antiquated approach, it enables us not only to save a lot of time and money, but to move data much more quickly to facilitate better and more timely decision making. One of the biggest challenges with exchanging asset data is what is known as the multiplicative mapping problem. Prior to PipelineML, a translation map or seed file had to be created between every two parties who wanted to exchange asset data. This creates a situation where every time you need to share data with another business unit or service provider, you have to create a new data translation map. This is a slow, manually intensive, and costly process. Using this common approach, if 7 parties all want to exchange data with one another, they have to create 42 translation or seed files between them. PipelineML offers a drastically simplified approach using a hub and spoke model. It allows anyone who wants to exchange asset data to convert it into a single universal data standard that requires no custom translation, mapping, or seed files. Once a party converts their data into PipelineML, anyone in the world can read that data and import it into their internal system without any party-to-party mapping or translation. Using PipelineML, if 7 parties all want to share data with one another, only 7 translations are needed. Each party simply translates their data into the PipelineML standard once, and they can share that data with anyone who uses the PipelineML data standard. This also means that PipelineML provides machine-to-machine data sharing capabilities. Any two systems can exchange data without the need for a person to manually move and process files. Sure, the data will still need to be reviewed by a subject matter expert prior to acceptance, but it removes the costly bottleneck of a person having to move and manually translate data between these different systems. In other words, PipelineML does all the heavy lifting so your staff can be focused on getting the primary work done. Second, in terms of sharing asset information internally, most pipeline operators have many business units, each having their own asset information repository running on different systems and software suites. This creates an array of data silos throughout the operator that presents substantial barriers to getting relevant information to decision makers throughout the organization in a timely manner. This makes comprehensive situational awareness particularly difficult. PipelineML makes it possible for anyone in the organization to share PipelineML data that can be natively machine-read by any system or software application and processed in near real time. For example, someone in field operations submits an update on activities being performed in the field as a PipelineML file that is machine-readable by every business unit in the organization, despite which platform, application, or device they use. This enables every business unit within an operator to have real-time access to the latest information about activities being performed on company assets. Best of all, PipelineML is based on IT standards and web-based protocols such as XML, HTTP, and HTTPS that are already fully integrated into every organization. This means that a full suite of standard security protocols can be used to encrypt PipelineML data based on existing IT security policies. So we are simply using best-of-breed IT technology so that PipelineML can be immediately integrated into your existing data management systems. Another point I want to discuss further is how PipelineML solved the most difficult aspect of information sharing. That is resolving differences in vocabulary. Every organization and business unit uses slightly different terminology and code values to represent the same concepts. There are variables in names, descriptions, spellings, abbreviations, capitalization, representation of fractions, and so on. So we hired a third-party organization with subject matter expertise to take all the API, ASTM, and other code values used in the industry and consolidate them into a standardized set of code lists and values. PipelineML 1.0 contains 178 code lists, each containing a standardized set of codes and values. These code lists can be updated whenever needed to keep them current with the needs of the oil and gas industry. This approach removes all ambiguity so that all parties and software applications understand the meaning of the asset data contained within a PipelineML file. This provides the opportunity for the oil and gas industry to enjoy interoperability across all asset information data management systems. Data can freely move from machine to machine and between oil and gas software suites. Does this mean that your organization needs to change its vocabulary, codes, and values in order to use PipelineML? No, not at all. You don't need to make any changes to your internal data management systems. All you need to do is have your software vendor create a PipelineML export routine that converts your internal codes and values into the universal ones used by PipelineML on its way out. Then they create a PipelineML import routine that converts the universal PipelineML codes and values into your internal ones, and you're done. Once your software vendor creates a single PipelineML import and export routine for your existing software, you can then freely share information with any business unit or external stakeholder whose system speaks PipelineML worldwide. You could think of PipelineML as PDF on steroids. Many software applications can output data into a PDF document that is readable by other applications running on different platforms and devices. PipelineML allows any software that contains asset information to share asset data with any other system, provided that the software has been updated to include a PipelineML import and export routine. Besides providing data capture and exchange capabilities, PipelineML also natively supports the archival of information. Every time you generate a PipelineML file, it captures a point-in-time snapshot of those assets as information flows within your company or outside its firewall with service providers. These snapshots can be archived related to a project or as part of a data management system that supports TVC compliance. One major advantage this approach has over building TVC compliance into a specific software suite is that these PipelineML data snapshots can be taken by any software in the enterprise and show a comprehensive picture of TVC within each application, as well as whenever data moves between these systems. Hence, PipelineML helps create situational awareness across operator departments or business units. This means that PipelineML supports traceable, verifiable, and complete record management across the enterprise. We also designed PipelineML so that a file can be opened 20 years in the future, and because it is based on open XML-based data standards, it can be natively read without having to install any special software or software versions. This means that PipelineML is highly portable with a long shelf life while being both machine readable and human readable. Thousands of man-hours went into the design of PipelineML, and we believe it will support the needs of the oil and gas industry for many years as it continues to grow, mature, and expand. To help demystify PipelineML, here is a sample file. As you can see, it is human readable. It simply organizes information using tags and attributes in a highly structured manner to support consistency and interoperability. Why should your organization adopt PipelineML? First of all, it allows you to capture data better, faster, and cheaper. It also allows you to overcome the data silos in your organization so that up-to-date asset information can flow between all of your internal business units and your external stakeholders. It allows you to reduce the time it takes to get relevant information into the hands of your key decision makers. It allows you to automate the heavy lifting of data movement between internal and external stakeholders as needed. PipelineML is a tool you can use to help create operator-wide situational awareness of your assets instead of having to rely simply upon application-level TVC compliance. For service providers, you can output data for all of your operator clients using the same data interchange standards. This alleviates the workload of having to translate data into every different format and standard used by each operator. And best of all, PipelineML is a free open data standard that's available today. You are invited to participate in ongoing discussions about where we take PipelineML in the future. Current areas being discussed include inline inspection high-resolution pigging data standards, interior and exterior component anomaly mapping, 3D creoform and tomography data, machine-readable mill test reports, facilities, tanks, and underground storage, land administration, and right-of-way. We would love to have your participation as we continue to develop this set of industry-wide standards. So how do you go about adopting PipelineML? Simply talk to your oil and gas software vendor and tell them that you want them to add PipelineML support into their product suites. And naturally, you'll probably have to help pay for them to add that capability. Thank you for watching this introductory and overview video on PipelineML. I hope you found it helpful and informative to understand both what PipelineML is and how you can leverage it in your organization. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact me at the address you see on your screen.